the world's most fascinating and abandoned towns and cities. Welcome to the video. In this particular video, we're gonna talk about those cities and towns which are no more in existence. This content won't be for a long time. Watch the video till end. Oradour-sur-Glane, France. The ruins of this former fishing village serve as a stark reminder of horrors of Second World War. Oradour-sur-Glane has been left relatively untouched since June 10, 1944, when much of its population was massacred by the Waffen-SS, a military branch of Nazi Party SS organization. During the atrocity, men were shot and killed in barns, while women and children were also murdered, and the church they were locked in was blown up. Survivors were gunned down as they fled. Wartime leader Charles de Gaulle later decided that Oradour-sur-Glane should be left a testament to Nazi cruelty. A new village with memorial museum open since 1999 has been built nearby. Belchite, Spain. On the front line between Republicans and fascist forces during the Spanish Civil War, Belchite was a center of weeks-long siege between August and September 1937, before finally falling to General Francisco Franco's force in 1939. Left much as it was then, the tiny village located south of Zaragoza in northeastern the Spanish stands as a memorial of those who fell. The ruins of its stunning church and particularly affecting the deserted spot where a new village built in 1939 can be found close by makes for an interesting day trip for Zaragoza. Greco, Italy. Located in far south of Italy, Greco's vertiginous location and spectacular architecture make it one of the most visually arresting abandoned towns in the world. Residents began to leave after a series of landslides caused by sewage and water work in 1960s, and Greco was completely deserted in the wake of Irpinia earthquake in 1980. Since then, not only has the ghost town pulled in thousands of tourists, it's also become a popular filming location, featured in movies like 2008 James Bond, a film Quantum of Solace. Grand Bassam, Ivory Coast. While Grand Bassam still has a thriving population, many of its most striking buildings have been empty for years. On the French colonial capital of Côte d'Ivoire, the resort town is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site, with noted structures such as Old Post Office, Central African Bank and Hotel de France. The history of Grand Bassam dates back much further than the French, the Enzima people, also known as Andinia or Apollonians. The Ivory Coast are thought to have lived here from 15th century, growing the town into a lively port and fishing village before arrival of colonists. Kolmanskop, Namibia. With many of its buildings half submerged in sand, Kolmanskop stands as an eerie reminder of what was once a buzzing town in the heart of Namib Desert. Founded after local worker Zacharias Lever discovered diamond here in 1908. It saw a huge influx of German miners and became a bustling hub before it was finally abandoned in 1956. Built to mimic a German town, Kolmanskop had a ballroom, a casino and even a tram system. Tourists came here to witness how the desert has reclaimed the building, with the entire town slowly disappearing forever beneath the sand. Bada, California. Perhaps the most famous of World West boom towns of late 19th century. Bada's population grew from a handful of prospectors to 10,000 people in the late 1890s, with rich seams of gold to be found positioned near the Nevada border to make their fortune with an incredible 65 saloons, as a Wells Fargo bank and even a Chinatown replete the Taoist temple. But Bada's appeal had faded by the early 20th century as other boom towns to prominence, and its population fell to just 120 in 1920. Hashima Island, Japan. Also known as a Battleship Island, Hashima, off the coast of Nagasaki, operated as an undersea coal mining facility between 1887 and 1974. But it was a cast airside diamond for a coal dissipated, and the nature has since taken over the building on the island. While the UNESCO World Heritage Site has become a significant tourist destination over the years, Hashima has a dark past. During Second World War, Koreans and others were brought to Ireland against their will and forced to work under harsh conditions, according to UNESCO. death toll figure related that period vary widely, and Hashima history remained as a source of contention in the region. Pyramiden, Norway. Situated high above the Arctic Circle on the Svalbard archipelago, Pyramiden was once a successful coal mining settlement, sold to the Soviets by Sweden in 1927. The remote town is dotted with classic architecture from the communist period, from the housing blocks to heliport. Coal hasn't been mined here since 1898, but the tourists can stay and dedicated hotel and book official tours to its neglected buildings. Those who visit Pyramiden will first need to reach the remote town of Longyearbyen before taking a boat or a snowmobile for the final stretch. Pripyat, Ukraine. Pripyat was given city status in 1979, some 9 years after it was founded to house workers at a nearby Chernobyl nuclear power plant. The Ukrainian city was home to around 50,000 people when it was evacuated on April 27, 1986. Following now the infamous disaster at Chernobyl, tourists had been arriving here in increasing number despite the dangers from nuclear fallout before Russia's invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. But this remains deeply melancholy place. In early 2020, former resident of Pripyat returned for the first time as a part of celebration to mark 50 years since it was established. While the site reportedly fell into Russian hands during the first week of the invasion, it has since been reclaimed by Ukraine. Hampi, India. Wandering the incredible ruins of Hampi, it's easy to imagine how this place thrived during the 14th and 15th century, becoming one of the largest and most important cities in the world. The capital of Vijayanagara Empire, it was destroyed by Sultanate armies in the 16th century. Hampi's remaining beautifully preserved port, temple and market helped it earn UNESCO World Heritage status in 1986. I hope you have enjoyed the content. Like to the video and subscribe to the channel. Goodbye.